Hey folks, what is up? This is One Big Bugger, and been forever since I put up a video, hasn't it? It has. Things are all messy behind me, ignore that. It's always like that. I'm not the cleanest person in the world when it comes to keeping my room organized, although I am cleaning up the house. So, has everyone thought I'm dead? Well, I'm not. Let me try and adjust my camera slightly. I said slightly, that's not slightly. Should have done this beforehand, that's how I work. So, anyways, what has been going on? Well, a lot of things, really. A lot of things have been going on. And hopefully a lot of things will be happening. A lot of it good, some of it bad. The possible badness going to happen that might happen, I'm not going to talk about unless it happens. Then I may come and talk about it. I'm just going to talk about some of the positive stuff that's been going on right now. First and foremost, the most positive thing. There was at one point in Hawaii, before my wife passed away, so this would be a little more than 2 years ago. She passed away June 15th, 2015. So June, July, August, September, October, November. Almost 2.5 years. Yeah, well, December, yeah, 6 months. December 16th would be 6 months. So almost 2.5 years ago. I was 475 pounds. 475 pounds. In a year, in Hawaii, I brought myself down to 455, but I could not get below that. And then I went from down to 450. I went from 450 to 460, back down to 450. At one time, I got down to 442. Bounced back up, stayed in the 450 range, and have not been happy. Well, first, I am on the track. I've got everything that I need done, except for I have to have 4 more appointments with a wellness doctor. A wellness doctor helps you try and improve the quality of your life and your diet and being healthy. And you have to have 6 appointments according to my healthcare insurance. I need 6 appointments with this healthcare insurance to see this doctor. And 6 appointments in 6 months, so once a month. And then I can set the date for bariatric surgery. That's not the best part. Yes, I am lined up for bariatric surgery, finally. All this weight might be going away. But take a close look at me now and compare me to some of my older videos. You might notice something different besides the full beard and the... I normally have shaved by now, but I'm waiting till tomorrow to shave, and I'll explain why in a little bit. I'm 435. Yeah, I've dropped another 20 pounds in a month. In 1 month, I've dropped another 20 pounds. Because I started in October on an 1,800 calorie diet set forward by this wellness doctor. And I have not stuck to it explicitly. I've had days where I've struggled. I've had days where I've gone out to eat. I have a feeling my Skype... maybe... No, I don't want to turn that off completely. The volume for my Skype may still be on, so I'm just going to zero that out so it doesn't make any noise. But yeah, in 1 month, I've dropped 21 pounds. When I started the diet, I was 454. I'm 435. So I've lost 21 pounds in a month. And like I said, it has not been 100%. I have not stuck to it 100%. First off, when I got the diet, I'd already gone food shopping. And even though I shopped healthy this time, there were some things that I bought that weren't on the list, and things that I did. And there were days that I struggled, and I ate too much, and I gained weight. But the whole trick behind the diet is not to give up. If you have bad days, if you have days that bother you, if you have days that don't work, don't quit. Try and get back on the horse the next day, or the same day. And I've been doing that. I have been struggling, but I have been maintaining a lot more than I've been struggling, and it's paying off. And for every pound that I lose, that's a stronger motivation, and it's actually getting a little easier and a little easier and a little easier to stick to the diet because I want to lose more and more. Getting started is the hard part. But once you get that momentum rolling, man, and it can be easy to get yourself frustrated. It can be easy. You start seeing that weight come up, especially if it comes up quite a bit. Like now that I'm under 4, I mean, it used to be for me, if I started creeping up to 460 is where I'd start to worry. I could get down to 440 something, 442, 441. And I wouldn't care until I got to almost 460 again. Then I'd start to worry. Now that I'm under 440, I don't want to touch 440 ever again. So if I see my weight creeping up even a couple pounds right now, no, no, no. I just clamp down on everything. So hopefully by the time I see the doctor in the next month, I mean, I got to slow down losing weight at some point. I've always lost weight at kind of an exponential rate when I've tried. But there has to come a point where I slow down. You hit that wall and you start only losing a pound or two every so often. But I'm hoping within the next month to be in the 420s, maybe even the 410s. You know, because if I kept up at this rate in 4 months' time, I wouldn't need the surgery. But things have been frustrating for me these past few weeks. I have been, and this also what's made sticking to the diet difficult. I have been on the go, almost every day. It's been like 12 out of 14 days I have been out of this house or doing something, and technically more because tomorrow is supposed to be a day of rest, but tomorrow I got to clean up the house. Kind of my own fault. I could have been cleaning here and there, but I've been wanting to rest. You know, I forget what the past has brought, but like on Monday I had to go do a sleep study for sleep apnea, part of my bariatric things I need to get done for the surgery. If you know, and I had to sleep on a bed that just was not comfortable. The mattress is like that thick, and somebody my weight, it was that thick. I was sleeping on the hard metal, and my back was hurting within an hour. I don't know how many times I woke up. By the time I got home, I was exhausted. But I couldn't go to sleep because my mother wanted to go to breakfast out at the senior center and wanted to bring me along. So I went to breakfast. By the time I got home, I only had 2 hours before I had to go back out to my wellness program. I didn't want to sleep. I was afraid I wouldn't wake up. And the thing about my wellness program appointments is I cannot miss one for any reason. If I miss a wellness program appointment, I have to start all over with 6 new ones. It's a trap by my insurance company where they're trying to delay me. They want me to screw up so that I can be delayed and maybe even give up. They don't know me. If I have to schedule my appointment as the last appointment of the day and start at 8 o'clock in the morning and walk my 400+ pound ass to Sturdy Hospital, I will. And then somebody can carry me home. But honestly, I'll just have to figure out how to get to Boston for the surgery. Yeah, everything for the wellness program takes place here except for the surgery. The pre stuff, seeing the nutritionist, start 2 weeks before you go for the surgery. 2 weeks before you go to the surgery, you're on a special diet. And this diet's going to kill me. It really is. I'll go into that real quick in a sec. You start a special diet, and everything takes here, and then after surgery care happens here. Just the surgery itself happens up in Boston because, quite frankly, Sturdy does not have anything that can hold somebody over 350 pounds unless they're a standard gurney table, room bed, or it's funny, they have bariatric chairs for people to sit on. They have bariatric wheelchairs. That's what large, equipment for large people is known as bariatric. They have bariatric wheelchairs, they have bariatric chairs, they have bariatric beds, but they do not have bariatric surgery tables. They do not have bariatric medical equipment like CAT scans or MRIs. If you want something like that, you got to go to Plymouth at the Beth Israel Hospital, which is about 45 minutes away, or you got to go to Boston, or right up here, Rhode Island, which I actually live like 15, 20 minutes away from. You got to go into Cumberland into advanced radiology. Sturdy has a 350-pound weight limit. Now, I would not be trying to lose weight, and I would not be trying to become smaller if I wanted the world to adjust to me. I do not believe the world should adjust to me because I'm big. And I've gone through this, and I've said this before, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But in today's world, there are a lot of big people. Unfortunately, there are a lot of big and heavy people out there. And it seems really unreasonable for a hospital to have a 350-pound weight limit anymore. The typical is 450 to 500, which, again, to me is sad. It really is sad that the state of things have come to that. But I'm part of it, too. I'm 435. I was 450. I was 470, 480 at one point. You know, and I'm doing it mostly now for my health. I'm 44. Going to be 45 next year. You know, and I am starting, because of my age, starting to develop health issues. Diabetes is becoming a concern to me. You know, I am starting to show signs of it, even though I haven't had any signs of it at all up to this point. I'm worried about my body as a whole, health as a whole. I look at bigger guys out there, you know, that were famous. John Candy a long time ago. John Panette, one of my favorite comedians, big comedian, talked about how he was getting healthy, and he lost a lot of weight. And he said, you know, he's only been able to do 5 minutes on these elliptical machines, and he could do 45 minutes, and he was eating healthy, and he was getting healthy, and he still died young. He still died young. I don't want that to be me, especially because I have 2, and they know about each other. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I think I might have already talked about it. I don't even know if the videos I talked about it in posted. I have 2 very young girlfriends. And they do know about each other. We're all together in a relationship. There was 4 of us. There's now 3. There was me, the 2 girls. Everything's reversed in the camera, and it always mixes me up. There was me, the 2 girls, and my pet, basically a second male. Unfortunately, I like how I just kind of drift from subject to subject. Unfortunately, my pet, when he came to visit me, things started opening up in my eyes about how he was, how he acted. He's not a bad person overall, I don't think, but he does do a lot of bad things. And he's very much about himself. And he's very much about doing certain things. And I'm not going to go into details, but I found out things that he had been doing. I found out things that he had said. He had been treating one of the girls that he had been with a very long time before all this started a very particular way. Basically, he was treating her as little more than a sex toy, even though he claimed how much he loved her. The other girl he treated basically as a concubine. When the first girl wasn't there, he would pay her no attention. He would pay her no attention until the first girl wasn't there. Then he'd pay her attention, or he'd start paying her attention when I would pay her attention. I'm just going to call them Vanna and Serena. It's not their real names. I don't want to use their real names right now. Shay, who was my pet, was very much about Serena and would not pay Vanna attention unless Serena wasn't around or unless I was paying Vanna attention. Then he would get jealous. He was very much by himself, called himself this. So I'm not speaking ill of him. He was an attention whore. He called himself that. He has a lot of problems and issues. I tried to help him work through it. And eventually, after 7 or so, 8 months, after, especially after the visit, which he was here for a month and a half, I got tired of fighting for his attention, which is what I was doing. I was fighting for attention. He lavished his attention on Serena, ignored Vanna completely, barely gave me any attention. So Vanna and I decided we had had it with him. Serena decided she was going to stay with him. We were okay with that. She stayed with us. She stayed with him. She divided her time. Unfortunately, despite promises he made to treat her different, which was part of the condition of her staying with him, to not do certain things, to not say certain things, to not push her in certain ways, he continued to do. And this eventually led her to breaking away from him as well. So I feel really bad about that, you know, because Serena and him had known each other and had been together for 9 years. And to see that come and fall apart. I actually tried to keep him as part of the group, at least as a very close friend, maybe in some kind of friends with benefits kind of deal. I know it sounds weird to say that, but he just wouldn't. He refused, you know, and he kept claiming about he felt he didn't feel right about the breakup and this and that. I tried very hard to keep him in the fold. I tried very hard to make him to keep going, and eventually I just gave up. I've removed him off of everything in terms of contacts except Skype. The Skype is the only place he can contact me, and I will not take him off my Skype. I won't fully abandon him unless he gives me a reason to. But in terms of the relationship, he's out, and it's just me and the 2 girls now. And I know that a lot of people would have an ego trip over that. Hey, I'm a guy with 2 young girls. How young? Well, Vanna's 22, Serena's 21, I'm 44. Yes, I am double and 1 year older than double their ages. But I don't have an ego over him being out of it. Actually, you might even be able to see it. It still hurts. Because I had known and been with Shay for 2 years. And I know how he used to be with me, and I can actually look back and pinpoint the very moment his attitude changed. And where his treating of me changed. And it hurt quite a bit to lose him. It still hurts quite a bit to lose him. And whereas I'm happy to still have the 2 girls with me, I'm not egoed over losing him or just having me with 2 girls. I did, and I do love him, but I'm not close to him anymore, and I won't let myself be close to him anymore. I just won't. It's too dangerous. Anyways, on a brighter note, speaking of the girls, Vanna, this coming Friday, the 10th, is coming from Indiana to stay with me for a 2-week visit. We set this up about 3 months ago. Her grandmother, who is the one who takes care of her, knows. I did speak with her. We have met on Skype. We've talked in text. There was a resistance to let her go, and I said, look, and I didn't say it in a mean way or anything like this. I said, look, Vanna's 22. I understand your desire to protect her. I understand everything that you've been through. I've sat here and I've listened to everything you've told me. But she's 22 years old, and she's resentful that you continue to treat her like she's 12. If you continue to hold her back, if you continue to treat her like she's not an adult, what's going to end up happening is one of these days she's going to walk out that door, and she's not going to come back, and she's not going to tell you. And you're going to call the police, and you're going to call all these people, And then when she's found, if she doesn't contact you from ahead of time, she's going to tell you, I'm not lost, I left. Because there was a point that Vanna was actually talking about staying here with me, where I live, because she was tired of the way her grandmother was treating her. And to be honest, I did not like that sound at all. I just did not like that. I would love for her to be here. Don't get me wrong. But what it comes down to is I felt her grandmother deserved to know the truth. So I took the initiative to message the grandmother and talk to her about it. And the grandmother kind of realized that she's holding on a little too tight. So despite all her misgivings, is allowing Vanna, couldn't stop her if she wanted to, but she's relenting on letting Vanna come and stay with me for 2 weeks. And this is very much a, for me, it's kind of a trial to see. It's one thing to be with somebody online over distance, right? It's very much another thing to be with somebody in person, as I found out with Shay. Although all the warning signs were there with Shay. Months before he came to visit me, he had been ignoring me. There had been a full 3 months, where he completely, I mean, I was virtually begging for his attention. And I was doing things, buying him gifts, trying to do things, and bringing him here early, extending the visit. I literally waited on him hand and foot at one point. All of that would, you would have wondered who was the pet, who was the owner at that point. All of that. All the warning signs were there. But it was the visit that opened my eyes. So this visit is to put Vanna with me to see how we get along together within each other's presence for 2 weeks. Because like my wife and I on the phone, and we talked on the phone for a year. My wife and I, great on the phone. We only ever got to one argument on the phone. When we got together, totally different story. Totally different story. For years and years, totally different story. But, so that's kind of what this is. And then there's going to be one more initial visit to go, and that's going to be Serena. Not Serenity. Serenity's a friend. Serena. Serena's a little more complicated. I'm not going to go into details. There's just complications surrounding Serena and her parents. It would be a lot easier for Serena to come visit me. There was a situation where it would have been easier for me to go see her, but things changed. And now we're back to it would be easier for her to come see me, but there are complications behind that, and her parents coming to see me. So we're not sure how we're going to work that out, but we're going to take time for that anyways. We actually want to line up her visit after my surgery. I actually would like to have my surgery and be through my initial diet and be eating normal food again before she comes to visit me. Which is actually what I wanted to talk about before, the diet after a surgery. And this is why you plummet in weight, by the way. The first day after the diet, for the first 24 hours, liquid only. Liquid only. The next 2 weeks after that, protein shakes only. Only protein shakes for 2 weeks. 2 weeks after that, soft texture foods only. Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, I think, things like that only. Then you can start back on normal food. So you go a month not eating anything solid. A month. Oh, and the bypass I'm getting isn't actually bypass. It's known as a sleeve. It's not an actual bypass. It's actually a lot safer than a bypass. So In short, it's safer. There are less problems behind it in terms of the foods that you can eat and not eat. Less complications if things go wrong. Less chance of things going wrong. Less things that can go wrong. So overall, it's a better surgery, and it's only been discovered about a year ago. So, so I'm happy about that. But anyways, I just wanted to touch back on that because that's what I want to finish about. So yeah, with Serena, the visit's going to be more difficult. It wouldn't surprise me if I ended up seeing Lana again before Serena comes, but I'm going to try not to do that because we try to keep things very equal and very fair between all of us. I try to give the girls equal attention, and I try to make sure that they have time together that they can have, without me around. They have their personal time together, and then they each have time with me, so that, make sure there's no jealousy, nobody's upset, nobody's angry. And things are working out quite well. Quite happy. Sorry about that. I don't mean to go off, but I need to adjust my chair. Quite happy about the way things are going right now, anyways. What else was I going to talk about? There was something else, and I lost track of it. Well, there's also my Envoy. I've had to sink a bunch of money into repairs, and I have more to go. Mind you, I've only had this vehicle not even 7 months yet. First off, I've had to have the two front wheel speed sensors replaced, which cost me about $1,000 total. I've had to replace an antenna on it, the front antenna. It needs an upper control arm on the passenger side in the front replaced. Which is $330. I need a rear reverse light harness replaced, which is $210, $220. I need a rear tailgate door harness replaced, which is $450. I just noticed that my rear view mirror, the compass, the direction has gone out, so there's something going on there. Although that's low priority queue, it's still something. I need to get the tires balanced on. I mean, I am just saying, it's a 2008 with 150,000 miles. Mechanically, other than the control arm, it's sound. I've driven it to New York and back twice. I've driven it to Plymouth and back twice. I'm going to be driving it to Boston and back on Friday, Boston and back on the 24th. This thing is a workhorse. It drives. It goes. But it's just like, damn, if I ain't sinking some money into this thing. I haven't had it 6 months. At this rate, I'm going to have a whole brand new Envoy. Honestly. So, what about videos, Bugga? What about videos? Oh yeah, by the way, one big Bugga. I may not be able to live up to that name anymore. I keep losing weight. I ain't going to be that big. I have been wanting to get back to videos, but it seems like every time I go to start wanting to record a video, something happens. First thing that happened, my D drive, my recording drive, my terabyte drive. It would wind up to 100% and then just stay there. I couldn't use it. I couldn't access anything on it. Something would cause it to wind up to full speed and it just wouldn't stop. I was lucky enough to be able to image the drive and get everything that I was keeping on it off and move it to my C drive, which still had storage space. So I pulled that drive off and I put a 500 terabyte drive in there because the reality is I don't even think I used 100 gigabytes on my terabyte drive ever. So I don't need a terabyte drive right now. So I've got a brand new 500 gigabyte drive in my D slot that I'm going to be using for recording. So that went in there. And just as I put that in, I started having internet issues again. I've been having internet issues left and frickin' right. You wouldn't believe it. You just would not believe it. my speeds fluctuate. My speed used to be fine. All of a sudden, fluctuating all over the damn place. I'm supposed to be having huge. I'm supposed to have like 200. I'm on Comcast because they're the only high speed out here. FiOS, I'm not even going to go into that. Um, um, they've replaced my modem twice, and things were fine. The speed would go up to like 100, 140, 150, and hold there. And then all of a sudden, next thing I know, it's fluctuating between 20 and 75, 52, 70, 30. What the hell's going on? So finally I said I had it. I fucking had it. I turn around. I call Xfinity. I said, you know what? I want my modem moved. I want it upstairs next to my computer where I can hardwire it in. It's going to cost me $40, or it's going to. I haven't paid yet. It's going on my next bill because this bill's already come in. So guy comes in, puts a splitter up here because right here, thank God, right here, right there, to my right of the room is where the splitter is. He puts in a new splitter, runs the wire out, puts the modem up here, plug the wire into it, plug it into the back of my computer. Boom! My speeds explode. I'm getting 200 and something down, and because it's cable, I'm only getting like 12, 15 up. You know, that's the one thing I miss about FiOS. I got like 200 and 200, but you know, FiOS is not everywhere, and right now FiOS. All right, I'll go into it real quick in case I didn't go into it before. I don't know if I ever uploaded the video. FiOS. I had when I was living in Wareham. When I went to move out here, the high speed is here. And they were trying to force me to take 15 up and maybe 3 down. In other words, I would be getting the same speed living here in Plainville that I was getting in Hawaii. In Hawaii, from a little tiny local company. Little tiny local company that I paid 12 something a month for. They wanted me to pay $30 a month for 15 up and maybe 3 down. I was like, no, you can't provide me with the FiOS high speed, then you cannot lock. Technically, the camera said, no, you should not be able to lock. And I fought with them. I said, you know what? Screw you. Sent them back their equipment. I said, you can charge me whatever the hell you want. I ain't paying for it. I don't give a fuck. My credit's already screwed up again anyways. Whatever. I called Xfinity. I have great download speed. I have good enough upload speed. Done. So I had to get it's like just as I'm going to make videos, my hard drive screws up. Get a new hard drive, my speed screws up. Now I got my speed done. What's next? But the good news is Euro Trucks Simulator 2 is on my computer and ready to go. I've already gone through getting up to buying my truck. I've got a few mods installed, but nothing too extensive. I want to keep the mods to a minimum this time. It will help me continue to play the game without going too far. I'm also going to mix in other games. I don't know how often I'm going to record, and I'm not going to start right away. I'm probably not going to start until after Vana goes back, so probably not till around November 24th or 25th. So keep that in mind. It's not going to be for a couple weeks, but I will do it. I will do it. I'm going to add in games like Faster Than Light. If you don't know what that is, it's a roguelike game. You'll see. I want to get, eventually, as much as I don't approve of the loot box system they have, Shadows of Mordor, Shadows of War. I do want to get the game. Sadly, I admit it. So if I can work that in, I'm going to. You may see that. There's a game I've been playing for a little while now that I have a lot of fun with, mods, known as Cold Waters. It's a submarine simulation game that I very much enjoy. Um, I've always loved submarine combat, submarine games, naval warfare. I don't play World of Tanks anymore. I don't play World of Warships right now. You may see other older games. You might see some XCOM, not the original, but XCOM Enemy Unknown, XCOM 2. Once I get the expansion for that. There's all kinds of games. My goal is to upload one Euro Truck and one other game a day. I don't know if I'll be able to, but that's my goal. That's my goal, to do that a day. We shall see. Because you all know how consistent I was. You all know how consistent I was. I'd be lucky if I uploaded 3 or 4 times consistently. But in time, I hope to get back there. I hope to start uploading again. Now that I'm in a place where I feel comfortable, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better about myself. I'm just noticing that sides of my beard look darker than the rest, but yeah, whatever. I'm feeling better about myself. I'm feeling better about my weight. I still suffer bouts of depression. I still suffer struggles and whatnot, but they're not nearly as bad. I am on medication for them. I am doing more. I am getting more help. This is one thing I got to give Massachusetts is getting help here is a hell of a lot easier than it was in Hawaii. A hell of a lot easier. And so I'm taking as much advantage as I can of getting help. So, 2 weeks. 2 weeks from November 10th. Keep an eye out for Euro Truck Simulator 2. I'm not being mean to American Truck. I will look into it. But right now, money-wise, I want to try and focus on one. When I can bring the other one up, if I want to bring the other one up, I will. But I'm very much, I've done both, and I'm just very much a Euro Truck fan. I don't want to mod a truck into American Truck. I don't want to mod in a truck. I'll mod in trailers. I'll mod in map mods. And things like that, but I don't like modding trucks into the game anymore. If American Truck Simulator gets a cab-over truck in the game, I'll very much be into that. I just love cab-over trucks. I don't like nosed trucks. Older nosed trucks, yeah, some, but I just really like Euro Truck. I do. So that's the one I'm going to be playing, Euro Truck. So, from the 24th, maybe the 25th, most likely the 25th. I don't know. After putting Vanna back on the plane, I don't know if I'm going to be in the greatest of moods. The 25th onward, I'm going to be trying to get back to recording and posting gameplay. Cold Waters, Euro Truck, Faster Than Light. You may see Dark Souls gameplay. You may see Witcher 3, Shadows of Mordor. I want to make a comeback. I want to do it again. And I believe that I can. And my hope, my one last thing, my hope. Tax season. Because I will be getting taxes. My tax return. Finally going to try and replace my computer and upgrade it. If I do that, I'm going to go to Twitch. And I'm going to start streaming. If I can upgrade my computer, because I've pushed this one as far as I can. The processor and the memory will bottleneck anything else I do. So if I can upgrade this in January, February, whenever I get my taxes back, I'm going to get a new computer. I'm looking for the strongest processor and video card and memory I can. So a 1070, 1080 NVIDIA graphics card, strong memory, and a strong processor. I may go, I always forget the other processor over, there's Intel and then there's the other one, which I forget. They're usually a little bit cheaper, but they can still be very, very powerful. You know, like they're not on the, I forget what they're called. They're not on the same powers. They're not on the same level as Intel. They're like maybe a little bit less, but they're still like the two that are supposed to be on the same level all the way up. You know, each one that's the same level. Intel's just a little bit better than whatever the other one is that I forget. But it's what I'm going to be looking at. So strong graphics card, strong, good motherboard, strong graphics card, strong processor, strong memory. I want to try and get a solid state drive for all of the operating system stuff. I've got all my other drives here that I'll put into it. A nice tower that I can get into. Decent cooling system. Fairly strong power system. And I'm going to have it built and delivered if I can. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But if I can do that and get a second monitor, even if it's just a small, I don't care if it's 15-inch, because to stream you need one that you look at the gameplay on and one that you watch like chat stuff on. I'm going to stream. Oh yeah, if you've been noticing, I've had my ears pierced. Don't ask why. I just wanted it done. I had it a long time ago. And I really don't care what anyone else thinks. This is me. So, yeah. That's just about all my news. Everything, there is some possible negatives on the horizon that I will have to deal with. And I have plans in place, and I have ideas in mind to deal with them, and I just hope they work should the bad things happen. Should the bad things happen. You know, it may very well turn out that I have to go out and find a job after, I don't know, 10 years, 10, 9, 8 years of being on disability. It may very well be that I have to go out and find a job. At which point, I'm going to try and find a driving job. There's plenty of opportunities around here. I used to be a CDL driver. I've lost a bunch of weight. I'm going to keep losing. If I can get, they're always looking for bus drivers for school. There's a company up here that does local driving for elderly and whatnot, known as GATRA. There's other places that are always looking for CDL drivers. I know I can get my CDL back that easily. So I should be able to pull out something. That's the biggest worry, is money. I'm worried about my Social Security disappearing. It's not that I won't have money, it's just I may not have enough to support what's going on right now. So I need to have very quick emergency plans in place, should that happen. And we'll see. We'll see. But I'm not worried about that right now. Right now I'm dealing with right now, and that's what I've learned to do. Plan the best you can for the future. Be ready to deal. Be flexible. Be ready to change at a moment's notice. But deal with right now. And that's what I'm dealing with right now. Right now, house gets cleaned. because fun is coming on Friday. All right, folks. This is One Big Bugger. I'm going to be signing out, and I hope, I really feel that I'll be seeing you on the 25th with a triumphant return of Euro Truck Simulator 2. And what else? We'll have to wait and see. See you then.